Alright, hello, welcome back everybody. Sorry I've been missing out for YouTube for quite some time. And then yes, my video will be late on this. Today we'll be talking about the Khorovod Don Rimes event that recently we just had for the 2 weeks. Sorry I wasn't able to make a video during the actual event and everything like that as well. So I thought I would still make a video. So this video is going to be more about my thoughts and opinions. Hopefully next event I'll actually be able to do a full guide through of the event and everything, like what maps to farm for, what gear to look for, and everything like that. Other than that, I can still give you my personal thoughts about the event and everything, how it went, what I thought about it, and we're going to just go over pretty much the Russian girls today from the new Northern Parliament event. And as I said, I apologize guys for the lack of video during the actual event, and I know I am late to it, but we're going to still do it anyway. So let's go ahead and start. Today we're going to bring up our beautiful Azur wiki to go over everything that we have. And it's kind of good now that I'm actually kind of doing it late a little bit, because it's kind of giving me some data on these ships to actually see how they're going to perform in long term and everything like that as well. So it's kind of good that I kind of waited a little bit, even though the event ended, and a lot of people were probably going to ask what the map was great to farm and everything like that as well, what we should have been looking for in the event and everything like that as well. But we'll still go over the ships and see how good they are. So our first ship in the event, we'll start off with Kirov. She is construction build, for construction time of a really weird construction time, 1 hour and 32 minutes. It's very interesting. Construction time, she is a light cruiser of the Northern Parliament, super rare. Level 120 stats, we can see that she has 4,075 health, which is for a light cruiser, that's actually pretty decent. It's pretty decent, actually. Light armor, of course, being a, light cruiser. She has 187 reload, 52 luck, 182 firepower, 296 torp stat, 110 evasion, 36 speed, 158 accuracy, and 343 AA. So she actually has pretty decent solid AA. Firepower, pretty low torp for most of the other light cruisers in the category, but her efficiencies are actually really solid as well. She has CL gun main efficiency of 150%, and then she has torp loadout as well with 135% efficiency, and then her anti-air guns being at 110 at max level and everything as well. So her first skill we got is Kirov reporting. Every 15 seconds in battle, 100% chance at max level to fire a special barrage. First time this barrage triggers, special ignites enemies hit, causing them to take 15% more damage for 8 seconds. So that's kind of a cool barrage that actually will constantly proc. That will, every time it hits someone for the first time, it will actually proc burn damage. That's pretty cool. Kind of the first thing from Northern Parliament to see kind of burn damage. All the Northern Parliament classifications, as far as like the cruisers and the battleships and everything, they've all had very unique solid barrages or skills that they look pretty cool too. And we all kind of like look down on the Russian ships as well, but I actually kind of like the Russian ships designs, because they kind of very much are like the ice version of the Iron Blood, which Iron Blood is my favorite faction. And I really like the art for Kirov too. Like, that bear is really sick and everything. She had really cool art and all that. And they got big fancy hats as well. So her second skill, we got Revolutionary Strike. Increases the effective and shell range of this ship's main gun to 75 and increases the damage the ship deals to light armor enemies by 5%, 20 at max level during battle. If there are other Northern Parliament ships in the same fleet as this ship, increases the shelling damage that all enemy CLs take from Northern Parliament ships by 4.5%, 12% at max. That's actually a really cool, unique skill. So if you run her with like Chappie or any other Northern Parliament ships, even though it's only against CLs, that skill is actually pretty solid. So she's got kind of like a skill like Bismarck, where it extends the range or the effectiveness of the shell range to a certain range, which sometimes due to the lack of like how that shelling actually happens. So like with Bismarck, with her skill, where they set it to her shelling range was increased, she had better gun damage where she can hit people from farther range, but when it came to like fireboats or anything, or fireboat killing, that kind of set her back, because she would have to wait for that reload, and she couldn't really kill them decently compared to that shelling range and everything as well. And then of course she has her EX barrage as well. Main gun efficiency plus 15% when she max levels, which is pretty solid. So she was a build ship. Overall, I think Kirov is actually be pretty viable with her buffs and everything to Northern Parliament. If you can run like Chappie, her Tallinn, that'd be a pretty interesting source of damage and overall power from Northern Parliament and everything as well. I don't think Northern Parliament is a faction that we're gonna really have to worry about them slacking or anything, or they're gonna be viable for Chapter 13 or 12. But honestly, I think Kirov is gonna be pretty solid. I don't think tier wise, I'm not really all for one for tier list, but if you definitely got Kirov out of the event and you're wondering if she's gonna be pretty good, her stats and everything. Her torp's on a little low the side for CLs, as I said, but she's got pretty solid AA and pretty decent firepower, so she's an overall pretty good solid ship to use. Using herself on JP with a comp of, I'm pretty sure I used Chappie, her, and like Tashkent, I was seeing some pretty solid damage numbers and everything like that as far as them being together and her buffing the other damage against CLs and Northern Parliament's damage and overall. So Kirov, a pretty good start to the event and everything as well, if you ever got her. Let's go to the girl that is honestly, personally, one of my favorites from this event, and I was so glad that I got her, because one, her art is super fucking dope. I know we're all pissed that we didn't get Sarus for the event as well, even especially when she was on the fucking banner for the XP rate up and everything like that as well. But we still got Sovetskaya Belorussyia, and a lot of people were very questioning the ship. Another weird timer at 6 hours and 23 minutes. Classification battleship from Northern Parliament. After further leveling her in the event, got her to 110 on my EN and 115 on JP. Her barrage is very fucking good. Like, it's really solid damage. The icebergs with the slow and everything as well is really good. Even if she doesn't proc it, she still does very solid damage. She has 429 firepower at max level with 8,000 health, which is pretty solid. So she's got some pretty decent health, pretty decent firepower, pretty low AA being at 215, but that's okay. Her evasion's only at 35. Her luck's at 46, which isn't that great. Her reload's 156, her accuracy is 76 and everything as well. And classification heavy armor as well. Her main gun, BB gun, is going to be 135% efficiency, which is pretty solid. 200 on CL and DD gun loadout, depending on what you want to use. And she has 110 air anti-air efficiency as well. Moving on to her actual skills as well. So her barrage, Curtain of the Rime. When a ship fires its main gun, 75% chance to fire a special barrage. If this barrage fails to trigger, increases the ship's AA by 50% until the next time the ship fires its main guns. So overall, a very interesting barrage trigger with being 75% and everything as well. The barrage is actually very solid damage numbers. She was doing pretty good work in D3. She's dying off a little bit earlier on just due to the lack of health and everything and a lack of trigger barrage, but I didn't really gear her with like a toolbox or anything with that, like kind of leveling her up. I kind of geared her with firepower to see how she was going to do. Recommended gun type I would put on her, she's more of a barrage trigger, so I would recommend either like a 406 SKC from PR2. If you don't have that, or in your new player, you could do a 406 Mark 6 main gun. Common battleship gun that we've been running for the past 2 years is a solid best in slot heavy damage gun and everything as well. If you want another one, you could use the 410. If not, if you don't really have the 410, I would just stick with the 406 Mark 6, the triple 406, or the twin 406 SKC from PR2. If you don't want to know both guns, we'll look at the end of the video. I will show you guys what guns they look like and everything like that as well. I'll show you kind of like what I'm rocking on my Belorussyia and plans that I have for her and everything like that, like what kind of started working for me and doing damage and causing barrage triggers and stuff like that as well. But moving on to her second skill, which is actually a very interesting one. She's kind of got like a skill like kind of like Freddy, not so broken like Freddy, but she's got like kind of her own mixture of it. So she has Ingenious Technician. As long as the ship's HP is above 60%, it increases the ship's firepower by 20% and decreases the duration of the burn on self by 3 seconds. Twice per battle, when the ship falls below 50%, it heals itself for 12% of its maximum HP for over the next 8 seconds. During the second battle and onward on each sortie, decreases all damage your Vanguard receives by 8%. In Operation Siren, this counter will reset when moving between sectors. So she's kind of got like that FTG going on. So she's above 60%. She's got her increase in firepower and self burn damage by 3 seconds, so that's pretty solid. If she's going to get hit by something that's going to cause burn for her, she's going to decrease that damage in her back line, and she's not going to take as much receiving of that burn or that damage or anything like that as well. She's increasing her own fire by 10% as well. She's going to heal herself for 12% when she falls below her maximum HP, which she has 8,000 plus HP. So she's going to heal herself for 12% of that every maximum second, which is going to be very, very solid. So she's kind of got like a self-heal, a very good barrage trigger and everything as well. So Belorussyia, I would say, is a pretty solid choice if you're looking for another mob battleship heavy battleship. I wouldn't say necessarily to put her into a boss fleet, for she lacks a lot of other damaging skills that better boss damaging battleships can handle, such as like Georgia or JB or Rashulu or Freddy and stuff like that. So Belorussyia, I would say pick more of like a mob clear battleship, but she'll definitely get the job done. She'll definitely clear mobs. She's got solid firepower. She's got a self overall buff that will decrease your Vanguard's self damage when they're lower as well. She has a self heal, and she has a very good trigger barrage as well. I figured out after around level 8 to 10, her barrage was actually pretty consistent. There was only some times where she wasn't really proccing, but when she was proccing the barrage, that kind of like hitting with a slow effect as well. She's kind of got like that Duke of York kind of like barrage, where it does really good damage, but it also kind of like has like the slowing kind of nice effect, and they take chunks of damage from that as well. So it's a very nice overall solid barrage. If you got her during the event, I would definitely recommend leveling her up. She's a very good choice for a battleship if you want to work on a battleship to use and everything like that as well. And if you're curious on loadouts, I'll go over some loadouts over towards the end of the video, show you what I'm rocking on mine and how she can perform for you as well. So moving on as well, we got our other girl, our fake Russian waifu who's German but was actually Russian, Tallinn, who everyone thought was a Deutschland retrofit. It's not a Deutschland retrofit. She is, even though she's a Admiral Hipper Tallinn subclass, she was still part of the Northern Parliament. It's not a Deutschland retrofit. I'm sorry, people who ever thought that. Completely different ships here. So she is a heavy class classification with a 2-hour build timer, super rare as well. She has 5,600 HP max level with medium armor, 182 reload, 80 luck, 61 evasion, 196 torp, 221 AA, and 261 firepower. So the firepower we're looking at really solid. Torp kind of shit on the AA. On the CA. I don't know why they would give a CA torps, but it is what it is. She's like, as I said, she's kind of like Prinzy again / Hipper. So, but she's very interesting. Tallinn is a very interesting ship that I actually like using. She's got pretty high luck, pretty solid evasion starting at max level for a heavy cruiser as well. 155% main gun efficiency is really good, especially for a person who has 261 firepower. Her torps being at 125, not really going to matter because she has 196 torp anyways. Her anti-air guns being at 115, which is also not going to really matter because she's at 221 anyways. Moving on, we got her two interesting skills. We got Bullock of the Rime. Every 18 seconds, it creates a frontal shield of the ship that can block 8 shells and last up to 8 seconds. If the shield breaks before it expires, it fires a special barrage damage skills based off barrage, and apply an HP barrier on sub that can absorb up to 5% of the ship's maximum HP and last for 4 seconds. So that's kind of cool. It can like either fire a special barrage, or it would also apply a HP barrier where she can absorb 5% of her max HP, which, having 5,000 plus health as a heavy cruiser, that's kind of nice. Having a kind of like a interesting dual shield, but not really a dual shield. It kind of is like a health shield that absorbs stuff, and then you got a special barrage, which the barrage itself is actually pretty solid. It's not poo-poo. It's kind of interesting. But her other main skill that was really interesting to me was the Memorial of Ice and Iron, which is where the ship is equipped with the Northern Parliament or Iron Blood main gun. It increases all damage dealt by the ship by 12% max. And when the ship is equipped with the AP main gun, it increases the main gun shell speed by 10%. And the ship has sunk 2 enemies in battle. It increases the firepower and AA stats by 8% until the end of the battle. So looking here, we got either Northern Parliament or Iron Blood main gun. So I don't really want to put Nolan Parliament on the pot spot here, but Iron Blood main gun, you're pretty much going to be looking at Rune gun for best in slot on Tallinn. I'd probably be using Rune's gun, the 22203 SKC 34 main gun as well. The speed from the main gun shells, if you're using another AP gun, it's good, but I would use the Iron Blood main gun here over the Northern Parliament because you're gonna get better overall damage anyways, and you're gonna also get that firepower and AA stat and everything as well. And for heavy cruisers, using anything other than like really, unless it's St. Louis, using HE ammo. Heavy cruisers don't really do great with HE ammo unless they have a modification for it. So you would be better off just to use realistically the AP main guns for it and everything as well. That's what I would physically use, and that's what I'm going to see. That's going to be good up slot gun for Tallinn in general. So Tallinn looking at a lot of strong ship. So obviously all the SRs in the event looking pretty strong and everything like that. I would definitely use them if you got them, level them up, see how you like them and everything. I think they're going to be pretty solid. Moving on to the elites, we got 2 destroyers and 1. I'm pretty sure that's Murmansk. I can't really pronounce Russian names. I'm not great with Russian names. I'm sorry if I butcher them and it triggers you. I'm not great anyways with names, and this one I'm going to butcher the shit out of anyways. So we got Gremyashchy, or Yakshi. As I said, I'm bad. I'm sorry. We got a destroyer in the elite class with Nolan Parliament, part of the class of Genevi. We got 2,000 plus health, 142 firepower, 150 AA, 279 torp, 199 reload, 70 luck, and 165 evasion, 160% efficiency on her DL guns, 110 on her torps, and her anti-air being at 110. So her firepower being focused mainly here, and her torp efficiency not so great. Doesn't really have that great of torp to begin with. They only have 279 torp, so pretty low for a destroyer. She's cute. Would I use her if you got her? There's a lot of better options you could use for destroyers, but if you want to use her, go for it. She's not that great. I mean, you got Thunderous Guardian for the first 30 seconds of the battle, self speed plus 5, firepower plus 30%, and after 30 seconds, self evasion stat plus 15. I mean, that's cool and all, but like everything with that, like her buffs and everything, the firepower is kind of slowly there, but you can use her. She'll be pretty decent if you don't have like if you don't have a DD, but if you have your starter, I would probably use your starter. But if you're looking to something to level up, I guess you could use her as well. And then you have Silent Advance, so you have 25% to fire a torp barrage, same attribute as firing equipped torps, and evade all attacks for 3 seconds. So a low chance to kind of give a small evasion buff. In general, I don't think she'll be that great. But if you have nothing else to use, you can definitely go ahead and use her and everything as well. You got Gromky, which was the was not the constructed ship. She was the point accumulation and everything DD. A little bit higher health, still light armor, still really bad on the torps. 235, 167 anti-air, 131 firepower, 199 reload, 45 on the luck. The Russians weren't really known for their torp. They were more known for their firepower, hence the Tashkent that we got from the original Nolan Parliament events. Tashkent doing big work, big damage, big DPS. In this case, it's not going to be anywhere near that. I mean, she's okay, but her main gun efficiency is still pretty high at being 155. Her torp is mediocre at 100%, and her anti-air is 110. She has selfless aid at the start of battle. If there are any other ships in the Vanguard, self crit rate plus 20% when another Vanguard ship falls under 20%. HP, consume 5% self HP to heal that ship for 10% of their HP after 5 seconds. Heal self for 8 HP, limited to 1 trigger per battle, which not that great to give yourself up to actually heal your enemy, and you're sacrificing your own health anyway, so not so great looking at that, you know, not too great. Mobility Master, you take 10% less from shell and torp damage from DDs every 20 seconds, self plus speed and firepower plus 20% for 10 seconds. So she go zoom and she go Bert. But I don't really like skills, as I said, that take away your health, and then they say it heals you, but you're playing with a 2,000 health pool anyways, and kind of having like a healing skill that's on that takes 5% of your own health to especially when you're under 20%, so it has to fall under 20% HP. And then you take 5% of your own HP to heal them for 10% of their HP, and then you heal for 8% of yours. But you're only using 2,000. You only have 2,000 HP. It's kind of like maybe you could have put that on like a cruiser or something that had more HP, that would be a little bit more viable or anything like that. But it is what it is, unfortunately. Not really seeing any of the elites being that good to use, but if you got nothing else, use them. If they're waifu to you, use them. You like them, it's all good. Moving on to the last buildable ship in the event was Murmansk. You got light cruiser classification of the Northern Parliament, elite. You have 3,000 health, 157 firepower, 261 torque, 101 evasion, 65 luck, 190 reload, 293 anti-air, 151 accuracy, 120% efficiency on her main gun, 155% on her torps, and 100% on anti-air, which the efficiency is kind of swapped around here. Her CL gun being a little bit lower, but her torps and everything and her anti-air being a little bit higher. Capricious firing for the first 45 seconds of a battle. Self firepower / torp plus 12% when equipped with the HE main gun. Deal 10% more damage to BB/BBC enemies, which is very interesting because I don't know how she's going to fire at battleships when, you know, they're usually in the back line and everything like that as well. But I mean, kind of decent skill there. Pretty interesting. Layback defending as well. Take 15% less from AP shells every 20 seconds. 60% chance to fire special barrage. So I mean, pretty okay light cruiser if you don't really have anything else to use, like either like Listing or Gensu or Norishiro or any of the other light cruisers that you could use, like Sandy or something. But if you don't really have one and you want to level someone that's okay, you can definitely use Murmansk. She'll be okay for you and everything like that as well. But don't really see her doing great things at higher end chapters or anything like that as well. But she's not bad and everything. So overall, I mean, we got some solid ships from the event. Also, we got some pretty dummy thick nice skins and everything that as well. Got a pretty meh dorm and everything as well. But overall, the event was fun. I enjoyed it. It was very interesting. I loved being able to farm for, you know, chappy guns and everything like that as well. Also farming for the purple single 130 for the destroyers as well was really fun. Overall, pretty interesting event, very solid. It was still kind of mad that we didn't get Sirus, but we'll probably see her in the rerun for the original Northern Parliament event and everything as well. But that's going to be my end portion for the reviews of the ships and everything. Probably in the description, so I'll break it down to, like, if you're interested in a certain ship, I'll put timestamps of when I'm talking to the ships and everything like that as well. But that's gonna be it for that section. If you guys were curious on what I was using on my Belorussyia, I can go ahead and show you real quick, so that way you can kind of get a hint of like type of main guns that I was kind of playing around with. So my loadout is kind of getting her as much firepower as possible. Right now I don't have a black shell I could use to use for her to load her out, but right now we're rocking the 406 SKC from PR2. This is known as the FDG gun as well. This is our best barrage trigger gun that you can use as well. It increases your firepower by 45. Really solid damage. It's pretty fast firing. HE loadout as well. Chappy gun for her secondary to get her more firepower. Stag Bofors for hit and fire and hit and accuracy as well. So you want that hit in your battleships as well, so they can hit everything and get as much damage as possible. White shell for firepower and hit, and eventually either a golden fire control radar if you have it, so she can speed up her main gun, or you can do the black shell as well and everything as well. But Belorussyia is pretty solid, but as I said, there's multiple choices that you can do. If you don't have the 406, you can use your triple 406 main guns, as this still is a very good in-slot battleship gun to use. So if you're wondering what type of like battleship guns to use right now, or what to primarily go for, if you have triple 406s, that's kind of pretty much best in slot for most of everybody, unless they have a barrage trigger that you really need to hit. Then you want to use a 406 or like the Odin gun or anything like that as well. Or the 410s are pretty solid. If you need a couple more of them, you can keep those around as well. JB's gun is really only for JB, same as the Loretto. You don't really want to use it on anybody else. The Monarch gun would be our best in slot, but it takes too many equipment materials to enhance, and it's still on par with a 406 at plus 12. So definitely not worth the enhancement for HE to even upgrade these. If you're looking for guns to pretty much upgrade, I would focus on like your main guns for other ships, like your champ guns, your prototype 406s. Don't really, just leave your purple 406s at plus 10. You don't really need to make them plus 11. It's not going to be that like extra much damage or anything like that as well. But that would be pretty much what you're pretty much aiming for and everything. Other than that, guys, I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Again, I'm sorry that it was later at a later time and everything like that. I still wanted to get the video out and everything as well. I'll be working on another video and everything as well. I'll be going live today on Twitch here in a couple of hours as well. We'll be live streaming. I'm gonna be having a little live stream plus a donation for the wildlife everything preserves that Azur Lane is going for. My goal would be for getting $100. If you guys would like to donate to the cause, it's a great cause. Adopt an animal. Every day, you know, we deal with the wildlife being affected by the preserves getting cut, their trees, they're getting combined into final areas, people are hunting them, stuff like that as well. I want to do my fair share of protecting them and adopting them and getting them a place that they deserve and everything like that as well. I'm not asking for you guys to donate or anything, but if you guys want to come over today or make a donation, you guys can privately email me as well. I'll donate as well if you're interested, and every donation will be sent to that foundation as well. Other than that, guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoy my content, follow me on Discord, come hang out with us and everything as well. Come follow me on my Twitter as well, and then come hang out with us in Twitch. I've been seeing a lot of you guys recently on my Twitch and everything as well, and it's really cool to see all of you guys. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoy a good week. I'll be getting on a video out hopefully either later tonight or tomorrow. If not, I'll get it out for you guys next week sometime as well. And then have a good one, guys. Take care, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see all you guys again next video. Have a good one. Peace.